Boys is by far one of my favourite shows of all time. I love superheroes, I love dark villains, and I love the political parallels and parodies woven into the main plot. And I especially love British representation.
Bollocks. Filling up the motor, a turnaround, a little get-it-done runner.
You wanna watch me have a wank? It'll cost you a tenner.
But that's not my reason why Butcher is my favourite part of the entire show. Yes, there are other exceptional characters such as the incredibly complex and sometimes terrifying Homelander and his development and backstory into the crazed villain we see on screen. Or the constantly hopeful Huey who acts as the buffer between the world of the boys and our world, being the most normal of the group and also the most relatable. Or even the unchanging, beloved bro, the Deep, who is just one of the worst. But Butcher's character was just incredible from start to finish, in the same way Homelander is the most extreme possibility for a person gaining superpowers in the modern world. Butcher is the same level of extreme, but for someone who despises and rejects supes, Homelander in particular. And it's their dynamic, their conflict that I wanted to focus on today. It's Butcher's driving force, it's the show's momentum from Season 1 all the way through to the Season 5 finale, which in case you're wondering, I just finished about 5 minutes ago. I just needed a moment, to process everything because holy sh... And while Butcher has his moments of kindness and empathy throughout the show, he has always maintained his stance. Homelander must die, no matter what. But why does Butcher hate Homelander so much? Well, at first, he didn't. Before the events of the show, Butcher's wife Becca worked at Vought, the epicenter for anything superhero related. And at a Christmas party, he meets Homelander for the first time. I'm sure these guys will be the best of friends. But it's not long after, Becca goes missing. And Butcher learns that Homelander did some pretty unspeakable things to Becca, and she hasn't been seen since, assumed dead. This is of course heartbreaking for Butcher. His wife is gone and he blames Homelander. Before this, he even called Homelander a superhero.
He's a fucking superhero.
But now, they're all just supes, because none of them are really heroes. His eyes are open to the true horrors of Vought and the many cover-ups that have happened just to protect supes. All of them, but especially Homelander, were held to a higher standard, protected against the law. And they didn't deserve it. Butcher wanted him dead. And this of course brings about a really fantastic style of conflict in which the lesser, weaker man fights the uphill battle knowing he probably won't win. And that challenge to a higher power both in the corporations and in Homelander himself is what makes the boys so interesting and why at least at the beginning, when it's just human versus supes, when a supe is killed it feels so impactful because of how high on a pedestal these figures are and how hard it is each time for these regular people. And Homelander can't believe that someone so small as a regular man would even dare to wage war on him.
You are pretty darn impressive. I mean, especially for, one of you.
He of course thinks less of him for being human, but he leaves Butcher alive multiple times despite how easily he could kill him, because of the challenge he gives to Homelander. Throughout Season 1 and 2, the boys have scraped by countless times just to survive against supes. But I think Butcher comes to terms with how far the odds are stacked against him at the end of Season 2. His main goal of this season is to be reunited with his wife Becca, who Homelander showed to be alive. But now Stormfront, a very powerful supe, is choking her out, and Butcher is trying desperately to pry her off, but can't. Stormfront is stronger, and Butcher can't do anything. He's crying and begging, but he can't stop it. His life, his wants, his family is out of his control and at the hands of supes, and there is nothing in this moment he can do about it. It's only when Ryan, Homelander's son, uses his powers to try and save his mother, is when it clicks for Butcher. Some supes are too evil to be left alive, and too strong to be beaten by the ordinary man. He needed to level the playing field. Butcher is already working with supes, Starlight and Kimiko, but that's not enough. They aren't enough against Homelander. So when Maeve shows up with vials of Temp V, a formula to give someone temporary powers for only 24 hours, Butcher, fueled by even more revenge, knows what he has to do. He gains superpowers, but they're not your ordinary super strength or even a strange physical alteration, not even an inconvenient superpower like Huey. No, he becomes exactly like Homelander. Incredible strength, laser vision. The only thing separating them now is flight. And Butcher revels in this strength. He is much more confident around supes and more willing to recklessly attack them, knowing that he is strong enough and smart enough to get away with it. Every part of him now is just like them, all to see out the goal that Homelander is dead. He hated Supes so much, wanted Homelander dead so strongly that he cast aside his pride, who he was before, and became them. It's no accident that Butcher's first powers were just like Homelander's. There's clearly some strange correlation of powers from person to person. Huey and his dad both get powers that are related to escaping with teleportation and phasing, highlighting their cowardice. Starlight was raised in a very Christian household where the light of God is preached so commonly that it's no coincidence that she can literally wield light. And Butcher wants the strength and ability to stop Homelander, so he becomes him. And now the differences between the two are even harder to distinguish. They are both horrible, irredeemable people who use the power they have been given to do as they please, knowing they can get away with it. Butcher is just like them, just like him. And while such a shift in personality might just seem like bad writing, this is actually critical to Butcher's entire character, and in my opinion, when he was at his peak in terms of writing. This transformation into becoming what he hates has been a slow sequence of events that we can follow with similar examples from other media. As Butcher said, this temp V is to even the odds, to make this uphill battle a level playing field. But in matching himself up against Homelander, he hasn't brought down Homelander to his human level, but brought himself into the same kind of monster that Homelander is. The despair he felt in trying to save his wife with nothing he could do was a terrible feeling, one he does not wish to feel ever again. Supes are evil, and so is Butcher. He knows that what he does in his mind is a necessary evil, so why not become just like them? This sequence of despair, power, and corruption is at the core of this trope, and many other characters in their fight against evil end up becoming the exact thing they fought against to begin with. Anakin Skywalker fought against the Sith for years, but upon being told that the Sith had a power he didn't have, one that would save him from the despair of losing his wife, a pain he had already felt with his mother, he seeks the power and goes against all the teachings and morals he has lived by for so long, commits atrocious acts, and becomes the most powerful Sith Lord in the galaxy. Eren Yeager feels the same despair when his mother dies due to the Titans attacking his home and leaving destruction in their wake. He trains and fights for so long in order to one day eradicate the Titans, but it's not his first Titan powers that corrupt him, but when he learns that he could control so many Titans, that power would be unstoppable. Everybody outside his home wants him and everybody he loves dead. He will not feel the same despair he felt when his mother died again. Not only does he attack their home himself, similar to when his home was attacked by the Titan Shifters, killing thousands, he takes control and destroys everything that wants to kill his people, even the innocent people. He becomes the genocide before they can do it first. He commits the same act they committed to him and then went a level beyond, despite how much he fought against them in the first place. Each of these three characters are extremely driven in their goals, and follow this sequence of events, despair, power and corruption, before becoming the exact thing they hate the most just to further that goal. Nietzsche, a philosopher known for tackling questions surrounding identity, stated that whoever battles monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster himself. And if that doesn't apply to these characters, I don't know what does. Butcher eventually succeeds and kills Homelander. I won't go through the details of Season 4 and 5, as they don't really showcase as much of their rivalry as I would have liked. But at the end, when Homelander and Butcher are depowered, it feels so cathartic. For the first time in years of this fight, he is stronger than Homelander. He beats Homelander again and again and again. For Frenchie, for Becca, for all the horrible things he did to reach this point, every death he caused, all to split Homelander's head wide open, killing him forever. Finally, his mission is complete. But at what cost? Who, or rather what, has Butcher become after all of this? Yes, he got his revenge, but it's as Homelander says.
It's beautiful what you've done to yourself, what you've become. And you did all that for me.
Nietzsche warns us that to engage against monsters, you often have to resort to violent and brutal actions. And if you do the same horrific acts that your monsters do, then how can you morally distinguish yourself from them? you are just as evil, and in your fight against the monsters, you yourself have become one. And the worst part is, Butcher had the capacity to change. It was just too late. In his final moments, he's about to release a deadly, soup-killing virus onto Vort's tower, a gruesome disease that could spread like wildfire, killing so many supes. All it takes is one button. Huey, forever hopeful, and actually the antithesis of the Nietzsche quote, remaining pure to himself throughout the entire show, tries to stop him. And just for a moment, Butcher hesitates. He pulls his finger from the trigger, but Huey doesn't realize and shoots him dead. This final moment for Butcher is at the essence of his rivalry with Homelander. Every awful act he did was to one day be able to kill Homelander, never unsure of himself or his decisions, until now. It's the reverse of the Nietzsche quote. His monster to fight has gone, so Butcher doesn't have to be a monster anymore. He could have stopped. He just realized it too late. Thank you for watching this video. With The Boys reaching its finale, I wanted to talk about this show for a really long time. I wasn't sure if I should have continued to talk about Butcher's willingness for genocide of supes in the 4th and 5th season, as that is pretty monstrous, but those seasons weren't my favourite. They were still great, and the finale was phenomenal. It just didn't hit the same with the soup-killing virus that didn't really get used. Hey, I'm a positive guy when it comes to movies and TV shows and video games. I think people can be way too critical of the media they consume in between doom scrolls, but the last 2 seasons just didn't hit as hard. Thanks again. Bye.